What's going on YouTube? AlphonZeus here of Team Gradelock, here with another episode of Team Gradelock Unlocks Week. This time we're going to be going over the latest Cardfight Vanguard episode, Ride 174, as well as results from our local and any more news that we have from Team Gradelock to your subscribers. So let's get right into it. Ride 174. Spoiler alert, you haven't seen the episode yet, please pause and close the video, go watch that episode, and then come back right here so we can discuss about it. Of course, if you don't want to do that, please click on the link in the description down below and get right to the results of our local, as well as a report from the Yu-Gi-Oh! YCS as a bonus. So stay tuned for that. So before we dive right into the episode, I do want to apologize for having this video up a bit late because YCS really kicked the crap out of me, so it's kind of hard trying to catch up on sleep and then put in the editing for the recordings. But don't worry, you will have a casual series match uploaded this week, and I do know that Henry's posting on his videos as well, so don't forget to check them out and give it a like. So let's start off with what happened in Ride 174, Frosty Ice Cera. We now get to see the final fight between one of the Caution Knights and one of Team Q4 or Aichi's mates. This time we get to see Cera go up against Kamui in an epic battle between the Musketeers of Neo Nectar and the Risers of Nova Grapplers. So you get to see the usual stuff, Ride 1, Ride 2, you get to see some hits go in, and of course, like the usual Grade 1 Turn 2 play, you ride, call a 10k attacker, get into attacks, but of course, it's always interesting to see that the anime will reflect this as well, and maybe even insert something into the meta. Now, as we move along, it seems like Cera actually respects Kamui a lot more than the other fighters have. Because we do know that with Rati and Misaki, Rati was definitely childish, whatever you say. I know that Kamui and with Kai and Galliard, I just see kind of like disrespect, like to the point where it's pretty much just verbally slapping Kai right in the face. You also have to have the other duo between Naoki and Nev, where Nev was just being Steel, Dimension Police, and then you know the way that Naoki's hand just grayed out after that Dimension Police Metalborg Legion skill, which is extremely scary. So right back into the fight, we get to see the Grade 3 rides on the Musketeer Ace and the Riser Ace. This is going to be an amazing battle because, of course, Musketeers have made a splash in, Cardfight Vanguard scene, but it's not until now they actually get to have a bit more of a boom into the meta, especially with the way that they have with the Musketeers recycling themselves and superior calling. It is just insane how well these Musketeers can do, and also that gives them a little bit of an edge over the Witches of Shadow Paladin because they would at least put a lot of their units back into the deck. Although I'm not sure if they're restricted on non-normal units like the triggers. But anyways, Kamui tries to hold his Legion skill, and then Cera goes off on his Legion skill. We get to see, alright, we can see a superior call, we see a crit, we see some standing going on, but still, Kamui is not that, he can't do it, he can't finish the job, and Cera ended up beating him. And of course, it's usually 5 to 6, and with that, Judgment was cast on Kamui. And this Judgment was very crazy, because now it's just this absolute zero Blizzard Judgment, as we have Cera to be one of the, I guess this is one of the most painful ways that Judgment can be cast down on somebody. Because, wow. Just wow. Like, I don't know anybody that can survive an absolute zero Blizzard, although I can't remember any single thing in existence that can actually go to absolute zero. And the fact that Kamui, just like the rest, are still standing after that Judgment, it shows kind of how weak that the Quattro Knights, Judgments are, especially when you have people that are so inspired and so moving. That's, they've been taunting them the entire fights in each of their respective card fights that, hey, we got Judgment, you won't live, bye-bye. But they still live, and of course they're surprised, and then they say, alright, you get stronger when you, come back and fight us. And that was pretty much Cera's last words to Kamui, and it's tough. Well, of course, in between that fight, we have Misaki kind of going off on Rati, trying to, say, hey, I'm not done yet, but Rati's like, you know what, that's okay. And she has a box of donuts, which is pretty much a source of comic relief for a lot of them. This episode in particular, at least this now completes the mini-story arc of the Quattro Knights completely laying waste to all of Aichi's mates and almost killing them in one way or the other, especially in the fact that we have fire, we have ice, we have steel, we have earth. And just any of those judgments would be very, very heavy in terms of the punishment, especially in each of these fights. It was always a 5-6 defeat, and seeing both of these kind of go in on them, on them each, especially with the judgment, would be better if just I don't deal the damage at all and I just take the judgment itself. But of course, you know, you always want to beat it, because when you have 5-6 and you won 5-6, they suffer judgment as well. So I really look forward to seeing what happens when judgment is reversed on them. And of course, you get to see a tease of Aichi and two of the other Quattro Knights that have not fought recently in the episode, in the forms of Galliard and Nev. They're card fighting against each other, and pretty much, okay, they're getting stronger, and you see Aichi and as their king, as their savior, as their, you know, their source of inspiration. So it's kind of a, you know, a development in that area in terms of trying to see, okay, is Aichi gonna run Link Joker? Is Aichi gonna run a completely different deck? Is what's going to happen? I don't know, but we'll have to find out to see what happens in the future episode. I haven't seen the preview for the episode yet, but I am looking forward to it. So that's it for the episode of Ride 174. Of course, if you have any comments down below about the episode, anything I missed, feel free to do that so we can get a conversation started. And now let's get right to the results. Now, of course, the YCS Philly Report is a whole segment in itself, so I'll cover over the results from the locals of our Vanguard local at Game On. So far, from what I got from Josh, we have 18 people entered. We had about 5 of them, so it's almost a third of them playing the Link Jokers. And top 4 just so happened to be Josh, CK, Henry, and Edwin. We get to see 3 Link Joker players and a Revenger player taking the top spot in Game On's locals. So, really establishing what this meta is looking like right now. The Battle of the Dragons, whether it's Chaos Breaker or Raging Form, it proves that they can be consistently topping, and both of those ace units are extremely game changing, especially when their limit break goes up. Whether it's the Superior Persona line or it's the Special Soul Blast to just retire and draw, or you keep them locked. So I'm happy that, you know, the Vanguard local is still going strong, and this summer I bet there's going to be a whole lot more people entering, especially when people get out of school. So that's going to be a major game changer in terms of just getting out there and establishing, hey, you know, Game On just really growing with the Vanguard community. That's my main goal with it. And so now that we have that settled, of course, I did not receive any tag team reports from my fellow teammates, but of course, if they do have it, feel free to comment down below so you can just kind of put that in there. I'll probably make an annotation somewhere up here just to kind of give results what happened on the tag team this past Friday. So now let's actually get into the Yu-Gi-Oh! YCS Philly Report. This is my second YCS in the past 2 years, so I decided to enter in. I entered with a couple of my friends from Team Persona, and you know, they're a Yu-Gi-Oh! Team kind of based on YouTube somewhere. Not sure. I'll probably search up for their YouTube channel and post it in the link down below. But I ended up going with them, and we ended up entering YCS Philly, and of course there's a lot of stories coming out of there, because of course Primal Origin just launched, and we have to have the Medol Chase, especially with Angeli, that one card that just changes the entire playstyle of, well, not change the entire playstyle, but just catapult the Medol Chase into just special summon 4,000 points of damage with Tiramisu and the Riviere, especially when you have Chateau on deck. Now, when we entered main event, it was about 1,100 plus of people who entered, and a lot of the stories that happened right out of the gate on Friday at pre-registration, a fight broke out. Apparently, what's been going on, especially when people just saw it break out, we saw this big guy ended up grabbing some, you know, kind of like a kid, no more than like 12, 13 years old, and just kind of like, you know, lifting him up, like pretty much just pushing him towards the window of a store, and everybody comes in, and everyone's like, oh, what's going on, or whatnot. And of course, the guy that steals his card says like, welcome to Philly, and turns out that this was somewhat of a, you know, theory, or somewhat, I don't know, some people call it a theory, some people call it conspiracy, but from what I've heard from the person who did assault this said person, was that this was building up over a couple of months, and that this guy and was, you know, kind of teasing him, bullying him, just calling him out on so much stuff, and acting like a coward because of it. and apparently he got so sick of it that, you know, he not only wanted to push this guy up against the wall, but he wanted to throw him from the second story balcony. And that's not good on any parts, no matter if the guy has been really bullied by this said person who got lifted over the past couple of months. So, of course, you know, that was the whole highlight from pre-registration, especially when people were there trying to pre-reg, and then they kick everybody out and only have time for those that are actually pre-registering. So everybody was doing their trade deals outside. Then came Saturday, which was the main event of Yu-Gi-Oh! Oh man, so much happened, and I gotta say, a lot of salt happened that day. A lot of salt. I ended up entering with the Perfect Agents, of course, with Herald of Perfection and the Agent Engine. I went 0-2. So my first matchup was against Madolches, and the guy had the combo, and I couldn't get a Herald out in time. The best I had was maybe an Earth play to like get Venus or Venus for Shine Ball, but of course, Madolche player got everything off as if needed, and I was pretty much left with just taking Tiramisu to the face and having to die by diabetes. That is Madolche. Well, of course, that's one of the decks that I do run, although I am missing 3 Angeli and 1 Invoker, so, But then, the second round came in where I faced against Harpies, the other deck that I do play. And I got beat 2-0 as well, because, of course, that pop and back row and going into Chidori just messing up the entire flow of things, pretty much got me for game, which, you know, is a heartbreaker. I ended up dropping because I didn't know that you can go X and 2 and still make it to day 2, which I felt really bad about. But then I had a few friends that actually were interested in the Attack of the Giant card because one of those cards just so happened to be Madolche Angeli. So my friend who went 3-0 with Madolche, he dropped in order to get that card, and he was so desperate for it that he wanted to get people to sign up and rig the tournament so he can win that, and he was willing to pay for everyone's entry, and, you know, if they win, take them all out to dinner and pay for half of their bill. I'm thinking, whoa, I'm not part of this. I'm paying for my own entry because I want to enjoy it for myself. But if you do want it, you better make me a good trade offer. But I swear, man, dang, like, you're talking about this, people are hearing you, and of course, there's another group of people that also want to enter for the Angeli, so everything's already thrown out of proportion. So, by the time we went there, I managed to win against a hero player. Somebody beat me with Dragon Duelers. Of course, it's single elimination, so I can't do much about that. I end up having a Mystic Shine Ball and like 5 back row, which of course I don't run back row and Hero because I run World Decree, so only thing I can set will pretty much Advanced Ritual Art, Dawn the Herald, and a random MMST and stuff like that, so the guy just completely crushed me. And then we get to see the top 4 where we have one of our friends who was on the team. Of course I didn't accept the $12 entry fee. I paid for it myself, but another friend, he actually entered with Spellbooks Turbo, the Turbo Spellbooks, and it was crazy the way he can do this. It's that Mermail's too strong, because the guy was drawing all his ultis, and of course this is natural, because, you know, ultis can find their way to the top pretty easily, and the thing is, oh, that's how you do it, especially when you shuffle. That's how ultis do, and a lot of people that would run a lot of ultis in their deck, boom, you get some pretty good hands opening game. But that's the thing though, it's not illegal, it's just lucky. It's just lucky, and you just exploited the use of the ultimate rares. But of course, you know, really people gonna bull shark for that. It's just been part of the game forever, a lot, especially with the concept of ulti rares. So somebody else from New York ended up winning the Madolche Angeli. So that's pretty cool, although somebody was trying to sell it for $800, and I'm thinking, you can't even use that in a deck. Can you imagine putting that in a deck and say draw for turn, Judge, that's an Angeli, or just Mind Crush Angeli, discard a big freaking cardboard of, you know, Angeli to the graveyard, just completely smashing the field and whatnot. Nothing really you can do about it. But anyways, that's what happened in the main event. Actually in the Attack of the Giant card, and I decided, you know what, I'm having a really bad time with Herald, so I'm gonna try Ghost Tricks for fun. Why not? And so when Sunday came around, I ended up entering 2 different regional qualifiers, 16-player battle royales with Ghost Tricks. I lost, you know, in both of those qualifiers, of course, because I was running pure Ghost Tricks, and I didn't really have that much of an extra deck to work with. But hell, I have a Lionhearted Galaxy Queen, and I don't even have a Downed Magician in there, so I was pretty much playing for fun. I didn't really pull anything out of the Shadow Specters that they gave us. I honestly thought they were going to give us Primal Origin, which I was really hoping for, but no, they gave us Shadow Specters. But of course, there's at least some money cards in there like Alucard and Felgrand. So, first game I went against a mirror match with the Ghost Trick that topped at a previous YCS that included in the Dark Creator, Dark Arm Dragon, all that good stuff. I win game 1 and he got game 2 and 3 because I can't find a way to get rid of those guys right there. So what can you do about it? I mean, I had the Elite Four traps in the form of Torrential, Bottomless, Solemn Warning, and Compulse, but I really didn't get that much of a thing going. Of course, you can just re-special summon them again, and that's going to just turn everything to hell. But the second round the second 16-man battle royal I actually went up against, I was playing against Silva, and so I was getting my ass kicked because he was just special summoning crazy. He already had Felgrand on deck, and his bag got stolen. Not really the best way to just win a match because I felt totally bad. I was like, alright, I'm just gonna grab something from my bag. I think it was something from the extra deck. And I realized, where's my bag? And then I'm thinking, no. I look down, I see my bag there, so I know I'm good. But I felt really bad because the guy, he got his bag stolen. He had it like, you know, like under the chair, like everything good, but nobody really noticed who took it because of course everybody's focusing on winning their match. And he had the scoop. And I didn't want it to happen like that. So that's what happened there, but I ended up moving on to the second round where I get 2-0'd by Geargias because they just special summon, special summon, special summon. Even after I Torrential when he amassed the field, he used Soul Charge and I was like, well, I'm screwed. So I lose. Of course, it's nothing big. I want my invite, but I wanted to try the deck that's not like Herald for once. So that's what the YCS Philly ended up going. I did know that a Madolce player won first place, so I'm thinking to my friend, yo man, if you didn't drop out for that giant card, maybe you could have went undefeated in order to be the first place Madolce player at a YCS. And, you know, as a whole, I guess a couple of my friends and I, we felt a bit out of it. We didn't really perform that well at the YCS Philly, but of course, it's first event for a lot of them, and it's only the second event for me. But just diving into that Yu-Gi-Oh! Competitive world, it's a scary place because the bag's getting stolen and, you know, people may be wolf sharking you or people may think you're stacking and stuff like that, random deck checks. It can really put a hamper onto, you know, the whole experience. But, you know, noticing the different scene from Vanguard and Yu-Gi-Oh! Yu-Gi-Oh's a bit, it's more developed, I guess, since, you know, Vanguard hasn't been out for as long as Yu-Gi-Oh! And especially Magic. But I do feel that, you know, it's something that I do want to be a part of. But of course, I'm always going to give Vanguard content to you guys, because that's our main thing on this channel. And also, of course, we also have other stuff in Bushi Road in terms of Wade Schwartz and Buddy Fight. But Wade Schwartz, I don't see much happening, but Buddy Fight, I can't wait to say Booty Fight. But Buddy Fight, we're going to be having a bit more, I hope we can do more casual series matches, especially with, you know, the stuff that's going around for the new set that's going to be coming out in Dungeon World. I'm hyped for that. And, of course, you know, with the future on the horizon, with another dragon entering this meta to make it a Triangle of Doom with Novel Vague, the Grade 4 Kagero. And that's a whole can of worms in itself. And speaking for the sneak peek, it's going to be happening not this Saturday, but the Saturday after, around May 31st. It is a $30 entry for, you know, the usual draft format, but there is a huge amount of prize pool in terms of packs, so it's worth it if you can make it all the way to the top 2. Of course, you get to win the playmat as well. Now, besides that, of course, with the other news of Vanguard, especially with the meta, there has been a petition, apparently, to change the way a Gradelock creature is. And despite a lot of support for this petition to make it happen, because nobody wants to see a Gradelock fight, there are some people that are actually against it because it's just, wow, the salt on this person, or why would this person even think about doing this? Because it's just being part of the game. Of course, if you win by an opponent's Gradelock, you know, would you want that or no? And of course, you know, I guess me as a card fighter, for example, I feel that Gradelock fights are part of the game, although if you have a legit game, the only thing you should worry about would be the triggers. But one of the points brought up with one of the commenters was actually, alright, so you literally can get yourself out of Gradelock by doing this, and if you can't find a grade 1 or whatever, you pretty much can mess up the order or the ratio of, the different grades in a deck, because you can search out the grade 1 by putting maybe like 2 cards in your hand back in the deck. You can really just mess up the flow of things in terms of, okay, so I only need 1 grade 1 to do it, and if I don't have it, I can just put my 2 sugars back, grab a grade 1, ride it, and just end my turn right there. So we'll see what happens in the future. I don't know if this petition is going to be good or, good to go in terms of trying to get to Bushiroad and see what their response is, but I think that this petition may need a little bit of rewording. I can explain in the next video, because I have to gather all my thoughts about that. And of course, this video is really starting to take a bit longer than usual. But aside from that, I will have a casual series match up for tomorrow, so we'll see what happens there. And aside from that, that is it for me. I'm your host, AlphonZeus. I hope you enjoyed this episode's week of Team Gradelock Unlocks the Week. I will see you all in the next episode. Enjoy the casual series match that I will be posting up tomorrow. And take care, guys. Team Gradelock out.